What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to a tradition like none other. Although, I guess free agency, I don't know. Welcome to an annual tradition here on the channel, the trade deadline show. It is here, the 2026 trade deadline. It feels like it is later than it should be, but nonetheless, we are here. We have made it to the trade deadline. It has been a long season. It has been an awful season, and I will be joined by Matt later on to discuss obviously every trade that has occurred thus far, to talk about trades that we think maybe will happen, and then of course break trades and talk about trades that do happen throughout the show. You guys know how this goes. You're probably familiar if you've been here for a while. If you're new though, welcome to the channel. And yeah, leave a like though on your way into the live stream. Subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on your post notifications so you know when we upload or go live for streams like this. Now, here we are, and we got a lot of things to discuss Ranger wise, obviously, because we always got to tie this to the Rangers somehow, which there was a trade though that they made last night. So it's not out of, out of the ordinary here to talk about something with the Rangers. Obviously, they have maybe one of, if not the biggest trade piece on the market, depending on if there are surprises that we didn't know about, like John Carlson, who got moved last night, which is still unbelievable to me. And barring any other surprises or Robert Thomas being moved, Trocheck could be the premier piece. We got a report from Elliot Freeman earlier that they might not move Vinny Trocheck, which that's a conversation we'll have. My thoughts on that amongst how it's tied to other things. But we got a lot to break down. It's going to be a long live stream. It is going to be a long 5 hours, 6 hours, whatever it ends up being. So, yeah, let's just get to the chat though, see what you guys are saying before we jump in everything. Because, like I said, going to be a long live stream here. Which, of course, means we have coffee. Of course, that means that. If you're new around here and you didn't think that would happen, or you didn't know, come on. Kaylee saying Drury snoozing as, or are we surprised? No, we're not. He made a trade last night, but snoozing nonetheless on the biggest trade that we're waiting for. Potentially two trades that would be great. NG saying, I'm going to make sure to tell my grandkids stories about Rangers legend Samuel Carrick. Sucks to see him go. And of course, typical Drury with the return. Yeah, that we'll get into in a couple minutes here. That's really where I want to lead the opening before I talk about other trades, because I think most people, since this is a Rangers channel, most people care about my thoughts on the Sam Carrick trade before we talk about like John Carlson or, the Parayko deal falling through, whatever else ends up happening here throughout the live stream. But let's see, we got this, looking for the looking at the Red Wings prospect pool. Drury might hold. But I think Drury might hold. I hope he does it, because the Red Wings have a lot of guys that I would be intrigued by. I will give my thoughts though in depth more about the Trocheck thing in a few minutes here, because I have a couple of thoughts here in that regard. Sam Carrick, Drury's best move gone by now. Yeah, I mean, you could argue he is. And the funny part is, there was a tweet yesterday of the 2023-24 Rangers and how there's only, I think, 8 players remaining from that team. And Nick Zararis pointed out that they are all pre-Drury players that are remaining on the roster, minus Trocheck. Obviously, this means if Trocheck ends up getting moved. Wow. Okay, so the Minnesota Wild get Bobby Brink. That's a trade that just broke, because I saw Matt send something in the group chat. Bobby Brink to the Wild. That's an interesting one. I know a certain YouTuber that's not going to love that, but we'll keep an eye on the return on that, and talk about that as we get the details. AJ Brown might get traded too. A little football trade potentially in the middle of this. I don't even know. I would not mind Carter Bear if he's traded to the Red Wings. I stand by that. I love Carter Bear. I would be to the moon about it. Trocheck to Detroit, Carolina, or Boston, I think, is the only deal we get good enough. Otherwise, he stays. Yeah, I agree there. I mean, I don't know how much Boston has that I would be intrigued by. I know people are a little bit interested with Patra, but I don't know. I'm not as high on him as most are, to be honest with you. Would I be pissed? Mm. But yeah, that Bobby Brink trade's interesting because how much is he a UFA already? Like, where'd the time go if he's a UFA already? No, he's an RFA, but still. Um, but all right, let's get into the Sam Carrick thing. Um, actually, before we do, Matt, jumping on now. Yeah, floor is yours. How you doing this morning?
All right. It's going to be a long day, like you said, because we expect nothing but the worst. Because, I mean, we'll get into the Sam Carrick stuff, but that trade was disappointing. But people, of course, will go out their way to make excuses for Drury. Like I said, we'll get into that. I'm not looking forward to the Trocheck trade, whether it happens or not. If it doesn't happen, it's very disappointing because I think that you should be moving on from him at this time. I think this is the highest possible value he'll probably have. Not saying that his value is going to completely decline to nothing like what the Rangers got for Chris Kreider, but I'd rather maximize on trade return now than possibly wait for something to go wrong, and then you're looking at scraps. But this is Chris Drury at the end of the day, so we know probably he'll fuck this up and either get a shit return like the Charlie Stramel one from Minnesota, or he'll won't trade him and his value will decrease, it will tank, and then we'll end up getting like a 5th round pick for him. I don't know what's gonna happen, but we'll see. But yeah, it's a long day, and yeah, the Bobby Brink trade was interesting.
Juracek going the other way.
He's going the other way.
That's insane to me. The Wild essentially traded like a first, second, and whatever other picks for Bobby Brink essentially now because of everything they gave up for Juracek. That's an insane deal. We'll talk more about that one in a bit because yeah, it's important that we talk about the Ranger stuff first. The Sam Carrick thing is where I want to start before we get into the Trocheck thing because of the fact that the Carrick deal did happen last night. It was Sam Carrick to Buffalo for a 3rd round pick and a 6th round pick. That is the Blackhawks 6th round pick from Buffalo. And here's the reason why I'm frustrated about the trade for, there's multiple reasons. And listen, I get it that people are going to sit here and tell us that it's stupid to be mad. They got a 3rd round pick. They got a 6th round pick. He's a 4th line center. Shut up and be happy. Here's my problem. I'm timing this guy out because he just does not shut up about that. Here's the problem. When I'm watching Nick Dowd go for a 2nd and a 3rd earlier in the day, when I'm watching Nicholas Waugh go for a 1st and a 5th or a 1st and a 4th to Toronto in the same day, and I'm not telling you Sam Carrick's up to the par of Nicholas Waugh. I think Nicholas Waugh is a better player. But the Nick Dowd one's really the one where I look at and say, Sam Carrick is up to par with Nick Dowd. Both guys have an extra year of control. Sam Carrick, if anything, should be a more enticing piece because he is only making $1 million on the cap next year. And I get it. You could sit here and say you're being nitpicky by wanting a 2nd round pick instead of a 3rd. But the problem is it is marginal things like that the GM, this is why I have a problem with this general manager. He thinks like that. He thinks, a 3rd round pick, a 2nd round pick, no big deal. It's not a big difference. But it's little things like that could improve your team marginally. And the general manager just seems to not recognize that. My problem is you could have got the same return for Sam Carrick at this time next year if you weren't going to negotiate and try to get a 2nd round pick, or dare I even say a 1st round pick. I don't know if that was ever a possibility. That might be playing pretend 101, but at the very least, you should be trying to get a second round pick because you have this asset for another year beyond this year. You do not have to move Sam Carrick today, or you didn't have to move him yesterday. You could have held on. And like I said, next year, I guarantee you could have got a third and a sixth round pick as well. The reason why you move him earlier is because he has an extra year of control and because you should be able to get a little bit more. To me, they should have got the exact same return Nick Dowd got, and I'm sorry. At the very least, it should have been a second and a fourth. You could argue with a wall. I do not care. If you think I'm being nitpicky, I really don't give a shit. But the reason why I'm frustrated, I wouldn't lose sleep over this if, the general manager had a track record of, being good and consistently doing some little things right. But this general manager has a track record of being pantsed in every single trade that he makes. Why should I sit here and convince myself this is a good enough return for a fourth C when we see the history of the NHL tells you this? And I had people in my mentions arguing with me otherwise that, oh, this doesn't happen. Where have you been the past 2-3 decades to recognize fourth liners always are overpaid for at the trade deadline? Scott Lawton last year fetched the first round pick. And again, I get it. He's a better 4C than Sam Carrick, but he still fetched a first and a prospect, if I'm not mistaken, in that deal. I mean, this happened all the damn time. Michael McCarron got moved for a draft pick. And then I had someone in my Twitter mentioned saying, well, Michael Bunting, didn't even get that kind of return or whatever. Well, Michael Bunting's also a winger, and Michael Bunting is moved every trade deadline for a reason. So again, you don't have to be mad about this if you don't want to. I get it. You could tell me I'm being nitpicky, but for me, I'm frustrated because it's little things like this that separate the great teams from this.
Yeah, well, look, when you break this down, of course, you have to look at the context, right? And you have to look at all the factors. Sam Carrick has the rest of this year and then another year, so he's got another year of control with only $1 million being paid next year. Also, doesn't have trade protection, so just in case, let's say Buffalo, right? They got him for this year. Let's say they don't have a great year next year. You could flip him again next year. The fact that he has so much upside on his contract and he has upside on the type of player that he has, which is a nice little controllable fourth liner, you would think that Chris Drury would take the opportunity, especially since this is a seller's market, by the way, because I know there was plenty of insiders a couple days ago saying that this was a buyer's market. We're gonna go for players are gonna go for cheap, and then we're seeing Michael McCarron flip for a second round pick, and they're like, oh, not so much of a buyer's market, is it, gentlemen? So. Again, the fact that you're looking at this it's a seller's market. The fact that you're seeing Nick Dowd go for that price, you're seeing Michael McCarron go for a second round pick. The fact that you're seeing Nicholas Roy fetch a first round pick and either a fourth and a fifth round pick, you would expect that Chris Drury would be able to analyze the market and say, oh, okay. And again, like you said, Evan, you don't have to trade him because he's not an expiring contract. You have him under control for next year, so there shouldn't necessarily be a rush to trade him. And I know people say, but Matt, you're kind of contradicting yourself there because Trocheck has control and so does Sam Carrick. Yeah, but Trocheck and Sam Carrick are two different players. Sam Carrick's on a barely, well, I don't want to say, but it's such a movable deal and it's such a cheap deal that it's you could easily flip it here and there. With Trocheck, he's actually a valuable player in terms of that he can actually be a respectable 2C, 3C in this league. So naturally, he's going to be the more valuable player. So you want to capitalize on that value. Like with Sam Carrick, there's not really a large range for his value to go up and down. It's pretty much at a steady pace. But like I said, because this is a seller's market, Drury should be able to hold him out and hold other teams to the package that he wants, which should have been a second round pick. Because, listen, a third and a sixth isn't the most terrible deal in the world. Absolutely not. But like you said, Evan, I'd feel a lot better about this if Drury had a decent track record and this franchise had a decent track record at one, winning these type of trades, and two, actually showing that they could use these draft picks like a third round pick and a sixth round pick to actually find these little gems late in the draft. This franchise couldn't develop shit. Like seriously, they're the worst franchise in the NHL at developing any type of prospects. And I know a 6th round pick, the odds of you developing someone are low. I get that, but we've seen all-star caliber players come out of the 3rd round. So it is possible. You just need the right supporting cast in your development system to get the best out of these players. But like I said, Sam Carrick should have gotten a 2nd-round pick, and I know Buffalo didn't have their 2nd-round pick for this year, but they had their 2nd-round pick for next year in 2027. But oh wait, of course, because they had to go trade for Logan Stanley, Luke Shen, and then Winnipeg ends up getting their second round pick for next year. So it's like, again, it's like Drury he there is no sense of like knowledgeable. Like he does not have a good grasp for like the market, negotiations, nothing. Like the guy is just basically sleepwalking through all of this. And when this franchise is supposed to be going through a quote unquote retool, you can't have a GM that's sleepwalking through these type of things. You need a GM that's going to maximize every single little trade, because all these draft picks and all these prospects that you might get in return for these players, they're all eventually going to add up, and you would hope that they would contribute to the long run. But I'm looking at this right now. I'm like, yeah, I don't see any long-term vision here or long-term success here.
The lack of 2nd-round pick from Buffalo is the point that I forgot to even bring up. That was the funniest thing I saw in my Twitter replies, because it's like, oh, they don't have their 2nd-round pick. What do you want them to do? I don't know, maybe trade for next year's 2nd-round pick. I don't know. Maybe there is a bunch of other contending teams that are starving for center depth around the league and maybe will give up those draft picks that are necessary, or the draft picks that, you really should be getting for Sam Carrick. And here's what's going to be annoying, because I could guarantee you this is going to happen. The Rangers now have 4 3rd-round picks. On draft day, I feel like they're going to package 2, maybe 3 of them to trade to the 2nd round. And then people are going to be like, oh, see, they basically got a 2nd-round pick. No, because then you got what, a 2nd-round pick that you should have got for Panarin to begin with, and you should have got a 2nd-round pick you should have got more than that for Panarin, but that's a different story. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. And then a 2nd-round pick for Sam Carrick. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And realistically, you should be sitting here, if you're not getting a 3rd-round pick, and again, at least a 2nd-round pick for Panarin, and at least the 2nd-round pick for Carrick, maybe you could trade into the 1st round late, and you could get a 3rd first-round pick here. But no, this general manager has no idea what the market is. And this point is 100% spot on, that keeping Sam Carrick next year, to me, is more valuable than these draft picks, because of the fact that he's under contract. If Sam Carrick was a pending UFA and this was the return, I wouldn't be as mad. It's really the fact that he has an extra year of control, and you could have held on to him and got the same exact return next year. That is my problem with this, is you could have got this return next year. Like, you can't tell me otherwise.
Oh, 100%. Because like I said, Sam Carrick's value, and at least, like, unless it was a major injury, like, pretty much Sam Carrick, the type of value he was giving you this year, he was going to replicate it this year. And another thing, you could have done it in the offseason. Like teams are always looking for cheap, movable 4Cs in the offseason, because we know how much the free agency market, we see guys being overpaid constantly as 4Cs, So do we have to go back a couple of years ago? This same GM decided to give Barclay Goodrow a 6-year deal, $3.6 million to be a 4C. Like, trust me, like, if teams were that desperate for a 4C, and especially for a cheap, reliable, decent 4C, you could have gotten something decent for Sam Carrick. Again, maybe a 2nd-round pick. Maybe you could have gotten 2 3rd-round picks. Like, who knows? But again, this just goes back to the fact that Drury doesn't know how to assess the trade market. He doesn't know how to assess his own players' values. And we end up getting underwhelming returns for most of these. I mean, seriously, when we look at everything, like, what trade, like, and this is more specifically like when Drury trades away players. What trade has Drury really won on? Like the Keandre Miller trade? Okay, fine, I'll give you that. But even then, what are you gonna do with that first round pick? You got back Scott Morrow, and you're playing freaking a waiver claim from San Jose over him, and you're not factoring in, and not helping him develop to become a better defenseman. It's like, again, so even then, even with the rare good things that Drury does, there's always a catch, and we've said this for the last couple of years. There's always a catch with Drury whenever he does these things.
Yeah, and even the Keandre Miller thing, like, you could argue the trade's not a win just because of the fact that they extended Will Borgen because their vision, quote unquote, which, you know, they lied about, which, what a shocker, was that they found their long-term right shot defenseman to play with Keandre Miller. And then they trade him. And then they trade Keandre Miller. I mean, this general manager is just unbelievable with his stupidity. And I can't believe someone had the fucking audacity. I'm going to go on a rant for a second here. Someone had the audacity to jump in my replies yesterday about the Panarin thing because I was talking about it again. Someone had the balls to reply with Chris Drury's quotes talking about how, oh, well, he only wanted LA, Panarin. That's why he took that return. This is the guy you're going to believe. You're going to believe this general manager. You're a different level of stupid if you believe this guy. And I'm sorry, you just straight up are stupid to believe this guy. I don't know how many times and how many lies he has to tell before you realize he is lying to you. It's just, I can't believe someone actually jumped in my reply saying that, but I'm not surprised. I'm not too surprised because for whatever reason, people have to defend this just pure stupidity. Yeah, and then this is what it will be with Trocheck. It only wanted
the damage control.
The Eastern team, yeah, exactly. It's just ridiculous.
No, I don't get it either. Like again, like looking at like every single professional like sports franchise in America right now, like you can't tell me there's someone worse than Chris Drury right now. I mean, listen, maybe there is because I'm not completely dialed in on the the NFL and the NBA, but in baseball, there's no worse executive than Chris Drury, and then in the NHL, I mean, other than Kevin Adams, and he's gone and he's on the unemployment list right now. Like there is no other GM / president that's worse than Chris Drury, and I don't get the people that defend him. I mean, what has he done to deserve this just all out barrage of love and defense? Like seriously, it's like it's like imagine if someone kicked you in the nuts and then they told you they loved you. It's like this is what this fan base does. They love to be kicked in the nuts and then like, oh, it's all right, Chris. Yeah, you gave me inflicting pain to my balls, but I still love you, man. Come here, give me a fucking hug. It's like it's so stupid. I mean, like seriously, and the fact that like and again, the fact that this owner as well just completely defends Drury and calls him a winner and says that he's changing the culture. It's like it's so stupid. I don't understand it.
Yeah, and then you have the tweet that Carlson put out too, and it's just so accurate that Chris Drury couldn't wait to trade Artemi Panarin, but now he's going to be patient with Trocheck. And this will segue into my thoughts with the Trocheck thing. Listen, I'm not going to sit here. I really want Trocheck trade today. I don't think you're going to get as much in the offseason for Trocheck as you would for him now. With that said, if you are holding on to Trocheck, if you're keeping him this season, you have to move him in the summer because you cannot go into the season like you did with Chris Kreider, like you've done with plenty of other players, and wait for his value to start to diminish. And then you're going to get an even worse return than you could get now or in the offseason. So I really want them to move Trocheck now, but at the very least, you have to move him in the summer if you're going to hold on to him. You have to. And we'll see what it ends up being. I just hope this trade happens now because I really don't want to deal with the headache of stressing this summer about him getting moved.
I think you have to move him now. Just like I said at the start, like I don't want to risk, losing the value that you have on Trocheck right now because like I said, he's relatively cheap. He's only $5.6 million for obviously, and what he's got 2-3 years left. Obviously, he has the modified no trade clause, so he's more easier to move because, like I said, he doesn't have full trade protection. But again, you're trading away a guy that has shown that he could be a valuable piece. He could be a decent penalty killer. Obviously, we saw him, at the Olympics with USA's penalty kill. They were perfect along with JT Miller, which don't get me started on JT Miller. But yeah, and again, this is a guy 2 years ago. He was removed from what, a 75 point season and an all-star season. So the guy has value, like I said, along with the fact that he has a favorable contract to move. So move him right now. Maximize your return. I hope it's Detroit because Detroit, for me, has the best prospects that I like. With Brand's Nygaard, Carter Bear, Nate Danielson. They have a couple first-round picks. Obviously, they do need another center along to pair with a guy like Dylan Larkin and Andrew Kopp there. They do have JT Compher as well, but, you could move those guys to the wing if they need it. And we know that Steve Yzerman is desperate. They haven't – Detroit hasn't really had, success while he's there. So if Chris Drury was actually smart, though, he would actually realize that and say, oh, let me try to get, more out of Detroit because I know Steve Yzerman might be that, have that extra desperation to where, I can maybe get a Carter Bear out of him and maybe, like a first round pick or something like that. But is that going to happen? Probably not. What's going to happen is we'll probably stay here till 3:00 because knowing our luck, this trade's going to happen like right at the end of the trade deadline, and we'll end up seeing Charlie Stramel. Great, another freaking prospect winger who can't skate to join guys like Liam Greentree and Brennan Hoffman. Which again, Brennan Hoffman, that's also a guy I'm wondering if he does get moved today. Not that he's going to get anything for Brennan Hoffman, but I wonder if he does get moved. And then, we'll get a first round pick if we're lucky. And it's going to be another underwhelming return. Or, like I said, he won't trade him. He'll wait, and then Trocheck's value will diminish. And then we'll get like an underwhelming return either next summer or maybe at next year's trade deadline because we know this team is not going to be good next year and they'll be selling again. And probably for the next 5 trade deadlines, they'll be selling. But, I am not confident along with you, Evan, and I'm not looking forward to this return if it does happen.
Yep, and like Mike Nwire for Life is saying, like, they're going to drop the ball on the trade no matter what because in my mind, it is a loss if you do not get more than Andrew Kopp and Pajot got back in their days. And keep in mind, those guys, and I know Pajot ended up extending, but those guys were rentals. There is no rhyme or reason for Trocheck to not get more than those guys did. And I just don't have the confidence in this general manager based on what we've heard already for the rumored returns. I don't have confidence in him getting that. I have this feeling he's going to just bite on that Minnesota deal at the last minute because no one's going to budge. And then he's just going to end up moving him for that, which I hope I am wrong on that, but I just don't have confidence in that at all. Why did we let Panarin walk for fuck all? Because the general manager's not good at his job. And I have people still trying to tell me if the Rangers waited until the trade deadline, it wouldn't have made a difference. You're fucking telling me Panarin would have wanted to go to LA still after seeing their coach get fired and Fiala go down for the rest of the regular season potentially? Stop. And this whole narrative too, like, okay, even if we want to run with the narrative that he only wanted LA, I'm going to point out the thing I have screamed about since that Panarin trade happened. The entire world knew Claude Giroux only wanted to go to Florida, and he got a way more respectable return. And I had someone saying to me that return wasn't good. The Claude Giroux return wasn't good. And I don't know what I'm talking about. And that I helped prove his point or whatever. I have no words if you think that Claude Giroux return, considering he was below a point per game at the time also. If you thought that return was bad, I don't know what to tell you because Owen Tippett's been a solid player for Philly, and they were able to get a first-round pick, and I think they also got mid-round picks in that deal. So to sit here and tell me that wasn't a good return is just stupid. But yeah, Drury didn't want to wait. He also told the entire world, yeah, we're moving Artemi Panarin, which didn't help as well, despite people thinking it wouldn't change anything. But this is what happens when the general manager, and this is why Matt and I point out the little things, and you could view it as annoying, you could view it as nitpicking, you could view it as complaining to complain, because that's what we're always told that we do. You could view it however you want. The reality is, it's all the truth that these little things matter, and it's what separates the great GMs from the Kevin Adams and the Chris Drurys of the world. It is just that simple.
Yeah, but yeah, but again, like you have to look at this like you can't look at this you can't look at this in a vacuum, right? You have to look at all the context. And like we always say, if Chris Drury had a prior good record of winning on these deals and winning on these little like free agency deals, you would say, and like if he had the occasional one bad one, like again, every GM is going to make a bad deal. It happens. We saw Julian Breezewell a couple years ago overpay drastically for Tanner Jeannot. It's going to happen. No GM is going to have a 100% perfect record, but it's about minimizing the bad deals. And like I said, if Chris Drury has had a bunch of deals before where he won on these deals and then he had the Sam Carrick deal where you're like, oh, okay, a third and a sixth, it's not great, but, it's a one-off thing. Maybe just there wasn't a huge mark for Sam Carrick. Okay, fine, I'll take it. But this is not the case. Chris Drury has fucked up on many deals time and time again in the 4 or 5 years that he's been GM and president of the New York Rangers. So I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and neither will Evan, because he doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, exactly. Like the first deal he made as GM and president, he basically set everything back. And again, this is not about trading Pavel Buchnevich, because sure, was Pavel Buchnevich a good Ranger? Absolutely. But he wasn't the the end all and be all. But the fact that you're getting that return for Buchnevich, that was the problem. Again, it wasn't trading Buchnevich that was the problem. It was the return and the fact that you got a pick and Sammy Blais, who they ended up flipping back to St. Louis for Vladimir Tarasenko a year and a half later. It's like seriously, come on. Like, again, you have to look at it. And again, going back to the Panarin LA thing, like, if you just waited that little bit extra longer and you didn't, cave into the demands, yeah, you could have gotten a hell of a lot more for Artemi Panarin. You know why? Because maybe some of the other teams, like a Tampa Bay, I know Florida is out of the running now, and they're actually looking to sell. They might move Bobrovsky today. But maybe some of these teams that were, cap struck, a couple weeks ago, maybe they could have found a way to maneuver around their contracts, trade a couple, contracts away, and they could have, maybe, opened up their cap space and made a move for Artemi Panarin. Prime example. Look at what Colorado did. No one had Samuel Girard being traded to Pittsburgh on anyone's radar, and boom, right there, Colorado freed up like $4.5 million, $5.5 million in cap space. They could have made Artemi Panarin work, but he wasn't available then. And again, you settled on a shitty return in Liam Grimtree, who now this organization and this fan base is calling a blue chip prospect. Okay, please blow it out your fucking ass. He is no fucking blue chip prospect. May he turn out to be a decent midline player? Sure, maybe. Do I trust this development staff to get anything out of him? Absolutely not. And you got a conditional pick out of our time. Like, seriously, like the fact that we're going to look back at this trade deadline and a guy like, and again, no disrespect to Nicholas Roy, I like him as a 4C, but the fact you're going to look back at this trade deadline and see that Nicholas Roy got a first round pick and Artemi Panarin didn't, like, that pretty much tells you everything you need to know about Chris Drury and his handling of the trade market and his negotiation skills.
Yeah, and just to circle back to, like, the funny part about the Buchnevich trade is not only the fact that they got a shit return, it's how many assets they have burned for years trying to find his replacement when they could have gave Lafreniere Kaka the chance, but no, why would we do that? It was the constant asset burning, whether you look at them trading for Andrew Kopp and Frank Vetrano, which Frank Vetrano was a good return. Okay, maybe we could right the wrong and keep Vetrano. Nope, they let him go. Then you have Tarasenko and Kane. Then you have Wenberg and Roslovic. Those, you just kept burning asset Riley Smith then the following year, who you tried to, jump the market on, if you will, in the summer. And I mean, you essentially gave up more for Riley Smith, who got traded for less the following or the offseason prior, and you could have just got him then. Um, it just, again, Chris Shorey doesn't know how to locate his ass if you gave him a map, and these are just prime examples. And they burnt so much liquidity from trying to replace Buchnevich over the years, and that's why they are stuck with no second round picks. They are stuck with a couple of fourth round picks that are gone, and then you have Patrick Nemeth, who they dumped, which is why they don't have a second round pick or their own second round pick, at least this year. It's like, again, these little things add up. Nonetheless, I do want to talk about things that won't make me want to rip my hair out or anything. Talk about other trades that happened in the league, because at 1 a.m. we got a trade that none of us expected, and I hope this isn't the only trade that happens today that none of us expect. John Carlson, though, I cannot believe I'm living in a world where he is no longer a Washington Capital, but he gets traded for a first and I believe it was a third round pick. I don't know which angle to start at. I guess we'll start with the Anaheim side, because Washington, there's a lot of layers, I feel like, to this. From the Anaheim side, finally back in the playoff mix. Good on them to go in and get a right shot defenseman that they desperately needed, because Radko Gudas was getting too many minutes for this team. Now you could slot him down to the third pair. You can move Jacob Trouba down. Your top pair could be Jackson Lacombe and John Carlson, or you could just go with Zellweger and John Carlson on the second pair, and that still, I think, will be very effective. But nonetheless, this will improve their power play. This will improve just their back end entirely. I really like this for them going in. And even at age 36, John Carlson's still one of, the better defensemen in the NHL on both sides of the puck.
Yeah, I was shocked when that happened. When I saw the Elliot Friedman tweet go down, I was like, really? John Carlson got moved? Because I didn't expect it. Obviously, we know Washington's not really in a great position to make the playoffs. They can maybe still sneak in, but now that, they're selling and John Carlson got moved, along with also Nick Dow getting moved, it's clear that they're sending the signal that they're on a rebuild a rebuild path. Obviously, we'll get into what this maybe means for Alex Ovechkin later on, but yeah, I mean, listen, it's a great move for Anaheim, right? Because we know Anaheim over the past couple of years, they built up this great young core. Especially they have Lacombe on the back pair. They have Zellweger as well. And Minikov as well, which I'm actually surprised he didn't get moved, because we've heard the rumors that they're kind of circling and looking to trade Minikov. I thought when that trade happened, I thought he was a lock to be in that trade and to go back to Washington, but they didn't have to do it. They just moved the first and the third round pick, which again, good for them. But again, you're taking a very good veteran in John Carlson, who again has won a Stanley Cup, has played in a lot of high tense playoff series, and now you're adding in all that experience and all that leadership qualities onto that young D-core to help supplement and help guys like Jackson Lacombe and Owen Zellweger kind of learn and develop even more. So, and like you said, Evan, good on the defensive side of the puck. Very reliable defensive player, and also very good offensive player as well. Can put up a couple points here and there, can move the puck really well. So, and like I said, Radko Gudas, you can now bump him down to the third pair. You can move Jacob Trouba down to the second pair, and you could either and the thing with John Carlson is it doesn't matter who he's playing with, because you're going to get quality minutes out of him. So you could either play him with Lacombe or Owen Zellweger, or possibly maybe if you want, put Lacombe and Zellweger together, and maybe put Trouba and John Carlson together. Like, there's a lot of options you could use, and you could deploy this defense in a lot of ways, because you've added that experience of John Carlson.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Anaheim back in the playoffs too, because it's been just a very long time. So yeah, this is one of those moves where I like it. We've talked about it so many times, you can't be half pregnant at the trade deadline. Those are the teams that just do not win. And to go out and get a guy that was the top guy for Washington on their blue line when they won that Stanley Cup, It is huge for them, and to go out, put your balls on the table also, and do this when it is your first year back in the playoffs since rebuilding or retooling, however you want to phrase what they did in Anaheim. I would say more of a rebuild there, but to go out there and make that kind of move and make a statement to your young guys that we believe in you and we like where things are going for the now and the future. I really love this move for them. And, we'll see how it ends up turning out for them come playoff time. Now, the Washington side of things, I said this in our group chat, and I think this might be the truth. Could Washington know this is Ovi's last year, that they were willing to make this move? Because they are only a couple points out of a playoff spot. They are not that far back. Granted, the Bruins and Canadians have games in hand, so maybe that played a factor in the decision. But maybe this is Ovi's last year, and Washington's saying, you know what? It's time. And it sucks, but it might be our time here to rebuild. We tried our best to, get Ovi one more cup. They ended up being one of the better regular season teams last year, even though they were fake good last year. And, we told you that. Took a massive step this year. Maybe they're realizing, the time's done with this group. Or maybe they'll just bring John Carlson back in the summer and, it won't end up mattering. But could you imagine? And again, I'm not going to sit here and say this happening. This is me, little me, putting on my Jedi robe, running around my living room and stuff with the lightsaber, playing pretend. Could you imagine we got an Ovi trade today? It's not going to happen. I want to make it very clear. It's not going to happen. I am playing pretend. But fuck, I would do disgusting things for that to happen today. But nonetheless, I really wonder if this is Washington kickstarting, at the very least, some sort of retool here. If not, just rebuild in general, because they don't have a lot of young guys on their roster to begin with. I mean, Connor McMichael's obviously there. He's been solid for them. They have Alexi Protas. They have, of course, Hendrix Lapierre is there. Who cares? Ryan Leonard's obviously there. On the back end, though, really not a lot of youth there. Chikrin's 27. And then you have Faravari, 26, Sandin, 25. Maybe this is just a retool thing because of the fact that, they still have a lot of these guys that they just locked up, especially like Chikrin, but we'll see. To me, I don't know. To me, it's just screamed Ovi's going back to Russia. Maybe I'm wrong, though.
Listen, do I think it's a guarantee that he's going back to Russia? No, but we have seen the rumors circulating now for the past couple of years to where, it was basically hinting at the fact that, when Ovi's contract is up, he's going to go back to Russia. So like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he does, but listen, I think Washington was smart here. They realized that if they even do sneak into the playoffs, they're probably not going to be one of, listen, obviously if you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. But just look at this Capitals team, like they don't have a lot of great depth. Defensively, I do like them, but forward-wise, they don't have the greatest depth. So they're looking like, okay, let's actually maximize our value on John Carlson. Let's get whatever we can back from him. First-round pick and a third-round pick. I think that's fair value for a guy that has shown throughout his career that he can be a very valuable defenseman at the NHL level. And like you said, Evan, maybe there is a possibility that John Carlson, he got traded, and maybe he does come back and he signs, a very cheap, favorable deal to come back. I wouldn't, put that out of the realm of possibility because we know Washington's a very, respectable franchise, and players do tend to like to go there and play for them. But I think it is a good idea though for Washington to kind of kickstart like a retool, like a 2 to 3 retool plan, because like you said, they're not there in terms of competing. I know they won the President's Trophy last year, but let's be honest, they kind of outperformed to what their standings and their President's Trophy. Yeah, they outperformed what they were last year. So it's smart to look at this roster and say, okay, listen, we do have a couple of nice, young roster players here with Ryan Leonard, Protas. Obviously, they do have Tom Wilson signed up for a couple of years. They got Connor McMichael. Their defense is fairly young with Sandin, Faravari, Jacob Chikrin. They obviously signed Matt Roy too last year. They look at this, okay, like let's try to move some of our, older veterans because, this is a core, this group has been around since, I mean, with Ovi and Ovechkin, they've pretty much been here since the, late 2000s. So these guys have been large, cornerstones and staples of that Washington Capitals franchise. And obviously, those two were huge reasons why this team won a cup in 2018. So, like I said, they were smart to look at this and say, okay, let's kind of, kickstart this retool. Let's get whatever value and prospects and picks we can for these guys. And, let's supplement that with our young, player pool that we have currently up in the NHL.
And yeah, I'm excited about the Ducks because I miss Trouba. The Ducks have always been my Western Conference team. So yeah, if you get the reference, you get the reference. I'm not going to explain that. The one thing I will say, and I really hate to tie this again to the Rangers, but if the Rangers dare traded John Carlson the way they did, where John Carlson, how could they trade him while he's sleeping? And he's got trade protection. How could they do this to a guy that's a franchise icon? Like everyone would, be calling for the Rangers to be relegated from the NHL, but none of that talk with this. But nonetheless, Washington needs to go in some sort of a younger direction either way, and at the very least retool here, especially if Ovi leaves. Then, I mean, that kind of forces the hand a little bit more. In terms of another trade that I do want to talk about that didn't happen, the Colton Parayko deal, which we went live to talk about here on the channel. That deal fell through. Parayko did not want to go to Buffalo. So that's what caused Buffalo to pivot to Stanley for whatever reason and Shen, which sure, not a good pivot, but honestly, maybe a blessing in disguise for Buffalo. I don't know, but that trade fell apart, of course. But yeah, I still can't believe we're living in times where Buffalo and Utah are buying, because now a trade that did happen, Mackenzie Weegar trade finally ended up happening. That was Oli Mata and 3 second-round picks. The dumbest return I think I've ever seen. Why not just get a first instead? I don't know, but yeah, sure. 3 second-round picks and take Oli Mata's contract, which I don't understand that either.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great trade for Utah to get a guy like Mackenzie Weegar. Obviously, this is a guy that has shown at the NHL level, and for his teams that he's played for in both Calgary and Florida, very good offensive defenseman, decent, reliable defensively, but more known for his offensive side of the game. Yeah, I mean, listen, Utah needed another defenseman to pair alongside, Sean Durzi and Mikhail Sergachev as well. So, they have a nice 1-2-3 there on their decor. As you said, Evan, good to move out and get out of that contract. And they also do have John Marino too on that decor. So a nice little top four that they assembled there in Utah. And like you said, nice to get out of that Oli Mata deal. The return that Calgary got, I don't get it. Like 3 second-round picks and Oli Mata, like you said, might as well just get a first-round pick, because Mackenzie Weegar should be getting a first-round pick. But sure, I guess you wanted Oli Mata and 3 second-round picks. Like, okay, whatever. And I mean, with the Colton Parayko deal, I would have liked to see him go to Buffalo, but fair play. He doesn't want to live and play in Buffalo. I mean, I can't completely fault him on that, even though the team has kind of, turned it around a little bit and it looks like they're going to get into the playoffs. I am interested to see if like St. Louis is one of the most interesting teams in this deadline. It's like, because we've heard the rumors that Thomas is available. Obviously, he might go to Utah. The Islanders also rumored to go get him. Jordan Kyrou, he's also a name that's been, circled around, a rumor that he might get moved. Obviously, like I said, Colton Parayko is another team going to step in and trade for him. Justin Falk, his name has been circling around in trade rumors. So St. Louis has a lot of guys that, potentially might get moved. Maybe a guy like Pius Suter gets moved. I mean, he's got another year at 4.125 next year. Like, that's a nice little controllable 3C there that you could get decent value out of if you are St. Louis. So, and also Jordan Binnington, there's rumors that, it's 60-40, he might get moved too. So St. Louis is one of the interesting teams at this deadline, because they could get a haul back for a ton of their players.
Yeah, and now we know what a Parayko trade would look like. So maybe another team that he's willing to waive to could get that deal done. So we'll see what happens. We also got Alex Nedeljkovic extended in San Jose, 2 years, 3 million AAV. Sure, interesting, but yeah, in terms of St. Louis, Justin Falk's another name. Maybe they end up moving today. So, besides the Rangers, that's the other team where it's like, look out for them to be big sellers. We've heard Kyrou floated out there. Robert Thomas obviously has been floated out there. Maybe Brain Shen. I doubt that happens, but no one I think is off the table. That's a team that needs to go into a full on rebuild. Another trade that happened, Connor Garland yesterday. We heard rumors maybe he'd go to the Islanders. The Islanders, I think, dodged a bullet. I don't get what Columbus is doing with this trade. A second, a third for a guy that just signed a contract that I am not particularly a fan of. I really $6 million cap hit for Connor Garland, and I get it. Like, at his best, he could be a 50-point player, but he's more, hovering around that 45-point range. Having a really bad year right now, I don't get it at all. He was on Vancouver's third line. You could argue maybe being on a better team rejuvenates him, but I don't know. To me, it's really just that $6 million cap hit for the next few years where it's like, you should be getting draft picks to take that contract, if anything.
Yeah, I thought Vancouver did a great job to get out of that contract. I mean, the contract wasn't great to begin with. I mean, listen, like 2 years ago, like Connor Garland in 23-24, when he was on that line, on the third line with, I believe, Dakota Joshua and Teddy Bluger, like that was and I believe Pius Suter also, kind of revolved in that line as well. Like that was a great line to watch. Like that was like, for me, I called it one of the best third lines in the NHL, just watching Vancouver a lot. And listen, Connor Garland, like I said a couple years ago, he was a very good player, very good depth player for them. But his play has started to steady decline over the last couple years. And the fact that Vancouver even extended him to that contract, like a 5x6 or a 6x5 contract, or no, yeah, it was a 5x6 contract. Like that was just not a great contract. And the fact that they were able to get out of that deal and get a second and a third round pick to dump that deal, I thought Jim Rutherford did a fantastic job on that deal. For Columbus, I mean, it's one of those moves again where it's like it's an okay depth piece if everything works out. Like again, if Connor Garland is playing at the top of his game, I think he's a very good player. I still don't think he's worth that deal. I mean, listen, maybe Columbus sees a way that they could get something out of him. They could rejuvenate him and get him something back to where he was in 23-24. I just think it's a risky deal. I know Mason Marshman went down last night with an injury, so maybe that's what caused them to step in and trade for Connor Garland, but I don't know. It's just one of those weird moves where like Columbus just kind of, like half-asses it, and they're like, okay, we don't want to necessarily go for the top player, but, let's get a decent little player. But it's just, again, I don't hate Connor Garland. I like him. I just don't like that contract.
Sorry, there's a clip that just dropped that I want to watch about Panarin, but yeah, I just am not a fan at all of the idea of getting a guy that is about to be 30 years old as well, and making that kind of money. I don't like that trade for Columbus. I just don't understand what their vision is at all either. Like, I don't know. I guess they're trying to get in the playoffs right now. Is Garland really that piece that helps you? I don't see it, but we'll see how it ends up going for Columbus. Hopefully, and again, hopefully Garland can bounce back since he's not an Islander. I'm actually rooting for him now, but
that's a weird update. Chris Johnson regarding Capitals trade deadline. They're doing both there. They also tried to bring in Connor Garland, who went to Columbus last night. They are looking to the future.
How is that looking for the future if you're looking for Connor Garland? That's not looking to the future, but so I guess it is a retool there. I don't know what they're doing. I really don't. Thank you for the $2, by the way, Steve. Yes, New Jersey is shopping pretty much their entire decor outside of, I believe, Luke Hughes, which stupid, and forgot the other guy that was listed as off the table for them on that blue line. I think it was Pesci. if I'm not mistaken. But trying to watch this, see this clip about Panarin that dropped about the negotiation. I don't know. We'll see though. Thank you for the $5 again, Steve. Reason that Vancouver gave him that contract is Quinn is his kid's grandfather, and they were trying to get him to stay. I didn't even know that. Yeah. But yeah, that's a weird one. I had no idea. Sorry, I'm like getting distracted by this clip though. It's not even in English too, so it's like I gotta read the freaking captions here. I don't know, I'm getting too distracted by this, but Buffalo proved changing the GM changes everything. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And it would be nice if the Rangers would follow suit on that. Let's see. What were the other trades that happened? I mean, the Nick Wall one we touched upon, Nick Dowd, the Warren Fogle deal, second, third, your boy Warren Fogle going to Ottawa, playing with your other boy Michael Amadio, potentially being on the same line.
They're taking my depth pieces, man.
You have a trade that I thought the Rangers should have been potentially all over. I don't know if Edmonton would have done it for Sam Carrick instead of Jason Dickinson, but I would have looked to have played garbage man for Mangiapane, and got a first round pick potentially, or at least even a second round pick from Edmonton to take on that Mangiapane contract and give them like Sam Carrick and I don't know who your Colton Dock equivalent would be. Maybe Othman. I don't know. Doc's probably more valuable than Othman, but maybe that's a comparable. Either way, I would have played Garbage Man and been in on that. Either way, the Rangers should be playing Garbage Man if the opportunity presents itself today. And then Connor Murphy went to Edmonton for a second round pick, a 2028 second round pick. So that is about it, though, in terms of the trades that have happened. Hopefully, we get some more trades soon because it has been a couple hours since we've got a trade now, or maybe 8 hours since we got that Brink Trocheck trade because that happened like right as I went live here. So we're all caught up now, and now we just sit and wait for the trades to happen, which I feel like around noon or 1 o'clock is when we'll start to see trades again because that's just how this goes every year usually.
Probably. just I think the perfect balance is like let's get a trade every like 20 minutes because that gives you enough time to look at a trade, analyze it, break it down, and then you're on to the next trade. But knowing our luck, we'll probably have to wait like 2 hours to get the next trade.
Yeah, and that's gonna be like 3 trades at a time or something, and it's just gonna be impossible to talk about all of them.
And then it's gonna take us like 3 hours to get the return on some of the trades
That also,
because
yeah.
for some reason it took like 2 hours to get the return on Sam Carrick last night, which to take 2 hours to get a third round and a sixth round pick return, not great work by insiders.
Yeah, I was gonna go live for the Carrick thing yesterday, but then the return just didn't drop until like 2 hours later, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll just wait until tomorrow then at this point to go live and talk about it.
If we had a Celebrini, Hughes, or a Bedard, you could retool / rebuild around them. Who do the Rangers have? Igor, Laffy, Mika. We have Miller, yeah, and he's the culture changing move. He's gonna fix everything, like we've already seen. Hey, he's a gold medal winner. He's a winner, right, guys? You know that's what we brought him in for. We're not retooling, rebuilding. That was everyone knows. If you have a brain cell, or if you have multiple brain cells, you have a brain. We all know that this retool / rebuild, whatever it is, it's one big bullshit story. It's one big farce. Don't believe any of it. We're stuck in purgatory for the long run. So buckle up, everybody. Enjoy it because you're not going to see competitive hockey at the Garden for a long time.
There's a
And
lot of lightning. Get ready to ride it.
But yeah, having a Celebrini, Hughes, or a Bedard, I mean, that's one could dream. For us, we have to play pretend about that because that's never gonna happen for us. We're not allowed to have franchise altering first overall picks. Like that's not allowed for us.
The Pretenders. Dude, it's a New York trade. Anyone else other than Trocheck? What do we think? If there is a god in this world, Brain Schneider will get traded today, but um, I don't know. Unfortunately, Chris Drury, for whatever reason, loves Brain Schneider more than his own children, so I don't expect it, but I'm begging. I will do disgusting things for Brain Schneider to get traded, especially seeing what right shot defensemen are getting. Not that I'm comparing Schneider to John Carlson, but Schneider is 12 years younger than John Carlson. So it'd be nice to see what kind of return they can maybe get for him. Tyler Myers fetched the second, so there's no reason you wouldn't be able to get a good return there. But
Tyler Myers.
I don't expect him to get traded. I think that the only move outside of Trocheck that I could see is the marginal moves. Like you might see Connor Sheary go, which why would a team want him? I don't know, but get what you can. Johnny Brodzinski's a pending UFA. I don't know with Taylor Radish anymore just because of the whole thing with what's going on in his personal life. I don't know if they want to trade him right now. Which that was really sad to hear about. Hopefully, the best for his family there. In case anyone didn't see that, his dad was diagnosed with cancer recently. So,
Oh,
I hope nothing for the best there, of course. And then the only other, just a segue here, the only other guy I could see moved, and I think they should move him, is Jonathan Quick to
yeah.
let him get one more crack at a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I didn't know that about our Radish, so, speedy recovery to his family and to his dad, because that shit sucks. Fuck cancer, as always. But, listen, Schneider should be moved. He has to be moved because I don't want to see that fucking asshole get extended. And knowing our luck, he'll probably get extended like 3 o'clock today to like a 5-year deal, making $6.5 million. But like Nick said on the last stream you guys did, like this is the highest amount of value Braden Schneider will ever have in his career. Because after this, he'll be barely worth anything. Which I know I say that now, but NHL GMs love big right-handed defensemen who can't skate and can only hit. So I don't know. Probably some idiot GM out there will freaking say, oh, here's a first-round pick for Braden Schneider, even though he's shit and he can't do anything. But I mean, sure, whatever. I don't care. But Braden Schneider should 100% be dealt because again, I have no interest in extending him. Please get off my hockey team. Jonathan Quick should also get traded because listen, get him an opportunity to go get one more cup. Obviously, he already has 3. Try to get that 4th one. Sherry should 100% go. Probably Mike Sullivan, though, will throw a hissy fit and doesn't want to move. Brodzinski should also get moved. Again, decent, roster player, decent depth player, but he should be moved on from. And, I mean, yeah, other than that, there's no one else. I mean...
Trade Rempe.
Fuck Rempe. He should 100% get out of here. If there was any way to get out of that Gavrikov contract long term, I would 100% do it because I still think that's going to age poorly. Even we've seen this year, his play has kind of declined a little bit. I know he's had Braden Schneider tax with him, so I'll give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt there because if you have to play with Braden Schneider, you instantly lose any love for the game of hockey. But yeah, I mean, Gavrikov, if you could get out of that deal, and again, I know he's a decent defenseman, but that deal's going to age so poorly. And again, this team needs to get out of long-term deals because it's just in any way they could get any sort of cap relief for the future, they need to do it.
Thank you for the $5 here, Steve. Sad fact, after the weekend, New Jersey could be 5 points out of a wild card spot considering how dog shit they've been. Yeah, the Metro in particular is just not good. The Metro fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's pretty much the Atlantic that's carrying everything. I mean, Tampa 80. Like the fact that Buffalo and Tampa are tied for 80 points. That is like if anyone told me prior to the season that at the point of the trade deadline, Buffalo and Tampa would be equal on points, I would either think Tampa had like a terrible season, they would have an injury-riddled season, like no shot. Like I would have thought that Buffalo would be up here with 62 games played in the season with 37 wins and 80 points. I mean, good for them, but that's what happens when you actually take the initiative and fire your garbage general manager. Things could actually start to turn around. Maybe another team should, take notes on that, but we all know that's not happening.
Yeah, and the GM goes into the locker room and says, no one is safe here, so play better or you're getting moved. Imagine Drury actually did that. I mean, if Drury did that, it would be a favor to these players. They'd want to freaking be moved at this point. But, yeah, I can't believe... I always said it with Buffalo. Like, I predict them to make the playoffs for the past 3 to 4 years, and this year, because of course now I said this year, I'm not putting them in the playoffs because I need to see it to believe it at this point. They're finally showing it though, so good for them. Thank you for the $2. By the way, NG Chris Ray couldn't sell fertilizer to a farm. You are not wrong there. He would get fleeced in that deal. Yeah, just with other moves though that the Rangers I'd like them to make. Why not move Adam Edstrom?
Yeah.
I don't know what you'd get. Move him. Like, I don't know. I'm just tired of dealing with him being injured all the time. Like, he's fine when he plays, but I don't know. Trade him for something. Get something.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I like Edstrom, but like the guy's as durable as Kodai Senga. Like again, he's a decent player when he does play. I like his size. He's a decent skater. But if you're not on the ice and you can't participate in games, it's like, then what's the point of your value? Because at the end of the day, the best ability is availability. And if you're not on the ice, then it's like, what's the point?
Yeah. Um, just yeah, I'm just at a point where it's like I don't care if they move or if they either like get whatever. I don't care if they sell off the guy that is, you know, selling the hot pretzels at the Garden. Like I really do
Ooh.
not care at this point.
From Dave Pagnotta, aisle shopping both Duclair and Shabanov, and also looking to add a top six guy.
See, Shabanov, you should have came here. You made the wrong decision. Ha! Suck it. Nah, that is interesting though. I mean, Duclair, I'm not surprised by. Shabanov, I'm a little surprised by. Duclair, though, I'm not. He's been in Patrick Waugh's doghouse all year. So I'm not surprised about it. Oh, you know what trade might hit today? Trade fix Walensky. You know, he's leading the Wolfpack in scoring still, I think. Pending UFA, a team looking for some AHL scoring, baby.
Yeah, we'll get a ninth round pick for him. Trade fix Wolanski. Yeah, why not play your prospects down in Hartford? Nope, got to give that time to Trey fix Wolanski. Gotta love this franchise. Edstrom is what blue teamers think Rempe is. I mean, don't get me started on Rempe. That guy fucking sucks. He's a glorified mascot at the end of the day. The only reason why he has a career is because Matt Martin decided to fight him at the Stadium Series. Like, if that never happened, like he, his name would barely be known. Like, he's tall. That's it. He's tall and he fights. Like, other than that, like, he's a useless player. He can't skate, can't pass, has no defensive ability, has no offensive awareness. Like,
he's a mascot. I was trying to watch this video. I don't even know who those people are though in that video. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't see what it was. I was trying to watch it. Are they reliable? Are they not? Like, I genuinely have no idea with any of that.
Lavia, let's love affair with every coach for some reason has that one player that is shit, but they just love him for some reason. Like with Sullivan, it's Connor Sheary. With Laviolette, it was Rempe. With Gallant had a bunch of them. I mean, he loved Dryden Hunt like he was his own son. Who's David Quinn's boy? Like
Colin Blackwell.
Yeah, Colin Blackwell. Yeah. Every coach has that one player that's shit, but just for some reason they have an affinity with, and he has to play every single game. I don't understand it.
Wasn't shit, but Jesper Foss got second line minutes when he shouldn't have.
I like Jesper Foss, so I'm willing to give that a pass.
He shouldn't have got second line minutes over Kaka though. That was really the thing.
Yeah, that I agree with.
I'll be back in a minute.
All right. Yeah, Goodrow too. That's another thing, but that was just more the fact that the guy had a fucking shitty contract. He should have never even been here to begin with. But whatever, it is what it is. Sabres just posted a highlight video of Sam Carrick. Lol. Listen, for Sam Carrick, good luck to him in Buffalo. Like, obviously, like if you guys recall the free agency stream that we did 2 summers ago, summer ago, whenever it was, when the Rangers first signed him. I know I wasn't a fan of the signing. I disliked the signing a lot. I know Evan didn't like the signing at all, especially since, when we woke up, he was pretty much the first guy that signed on free agency on July 1st, so that didn't help. But I will be fair. I will take accountability, unlike some people in this organization and unlike some people in this fan base. Yeah, I was wrong about Sam Carrick. He was actually a decent veteran depth 4C guy for this team. He was one of the rare guys that wasn't a bitch. He actually stepped up and fought when, some guy needed some guy from the other team needed his ass beat, and he also played fairly decent, reliable defense, and he put up the occasional goal here and there. So listen, was he a notable point getter? Absolutely not, but he was at least semi reliable, and you could at least trust him to play a solid game on the bottom six and on the fourth line. So got nothing but respect for Sam Carrick. Good luck to him in Buffalo. Hopefully, they can make a deep playoff run and see what happens. Maybe he scores a big goal in the playoffs for them. Maybe a big overtime winner. Who knows? Because we know that sometimes it's those. I know we all look at the big superstars, like we look at a Tage Thompson or a Rasmus Dahlin on the team, but maybe it's a guy like Sam Carrick that steps up big and in a spot like an overtime and scores that big goal. Who knows? We will find out. Syrup Boy has been my favorite player this season. I mean, listen, there's not a lot to be happy about this season. Like, there's not a lot of great players to cheer for on this roster. I mean, Trocheck looks like he's going to get moved. Fox looks like he's on the way out. I don't really blame him. I mean, Mika's had at least a decent, reliable season, but I still don't really trust him because we've seen him the last 2-3 years have just terrible 5v5 seasons. JT Miller, like I said, don't get me started on that fucking clown. Listen, Igor's good, but again, I can't stand that contract. There's not a lot to be happy about. I mean, at least like you could look at a guy like Gabe Perreault and stuff and be happy that he's at least playing semi well. Laba, I think he's had a decent rookie year as well. I mean, another one, Lafreniere, don't get me started on that fucking ass clown. He needs to be traded as soon as possible. But yeah, I mean, listen, and it's weird now who they're going to give the Stephen McDonald Extra Effort Award to, because I think we could all agree Sam Carrick was one that deserves it the most. Now he's not here. Like, I don't think they should give out the award because no one on this team deserves that award. Like, it's amazing how much of a shit show this team is right now. I mean, maybe if you want to give it to him out of sympathy, like give it to Jonathan Quick, like because he's a lifelong Rangers fan and he grew up a Rangers fan and he's a good veteran. Could you give it to Mika? I mean, yeah, sure you could, but I don't know. I think with the way this season has gone, especially after the Sam Carrick trade, I don't think anyone on this team deserves it, to be honest with you. But listen, it is what it is. Just give it to Carrick when the Sabres play at the Garden again. Do the Sabres play at the Garden again? Let me see the rest of the schedule. Rangers schedule. They actually don't. The Rangers don't play. Oh, actually, no, they do. Yeah, right here. April 8th. Yeah, they play. Maybe, but I guess we'll find out. Andrew, you're so mean to the Rangers. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, do you want me to gas up this product right now? I mean, they're 8th in the Metro Division, 3rd worst in the NHL. Like, I mean, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. Andrew, go fucking play NHL GM mode or franchise mode. Go talk to Kyle Dubas. Like, get out of here. Give the award to the freaking season ticket holders. I mean, yeah, give it to the real fans, not these corporate people, not these people who are these fake positive fans. No, give it to the fans that actually hold the team accountable, because people like us, we're the ones fucking going through it right now because we're sitting here having to deal with this shit on a nightly basis, and we're pretty much looking towards. I can't even say we're looking towards a future because there is no future. Like, the future is just ass. It's a whole lot of ass and shit. Like I said, we're screwed for the next decade. So, yeah, give it to us, if anything.
I love as I'm walking back, I hear through my headphones a lot of ass and shit.
That's what it is. A lot of ass and shit. No, because someone brought up in the comment section. It's like with the that Sam Carrick is probably going to win the Stephen McDonald Award, and now that he's gone, it's like pretty much no one should deserve it. That Sam Carrick is gone now. I mean, someone said also that you should just give it to him when the Sabres come back in April. That's fair, but no one deserves that award.
People are gonna friggin' pick Mika because this is allegedly a bounce back year.
Drury will give the extra effort award to himself. Yeah, he would do that because he's a narcissistic asshole. Fuck Drury. Notice again that he was also the only one that when the Rangers came back and when Trocheck, JT Miller, and Sullivan were all got announced by Joe Carlson for celebrating the gold medal. Notice how Drury was the only one who wasn't down there. I wonder why he wasn't down there. Can't be a coincidence, right?
Dude friggin' hides no matter what.
Flyers made a trade with Boston.
There was like a AHL swap or something. It's literally a nothing burger.
Oh, okay.
It's
I never heard of these guys before.
Yeah,
Brett Harrison, Jackson Edward, Massimo, Rizzo, and Alexis. These are like randomized
like baseball
appearance
players. Like
no, those are like when you make a created player on NHL or like MLB and you press the randomize button. That's what you get. You get these guys. Who's the clear-cut winner for the lesser effort award? JT Miller or Alexis Lafreniere?
now Lafreniere's been putting up points since Panarin left, so now all of a sudden he's good.
Yeah, even though Schaefer's outscoring him, that's fantastic.
Even though there's nothing that screams about what Lafreniere does, that like none of it screams first overall pick or anything.
No. Yes, yeah, Drury is a Little League World Series. Yeah, he's a winner. I know. He's definitely a winner. Yeah, sure. You give it to Spencer Martin for contributing to the tank. Listen, no, I'll give it to Spencer Martin.
Plays the game the right way. Yeah, who would I give that award to this year? I mean, I wouldn't even give it out this year, but
nah, I said if anything, give it a Quick, just because he's a lifelong Ranger fan.
Fox for putting up with this bullshit management.
Yeah. Or like someone said, give it. Or like someone said, give it to the fans because, or like the non-blue teamer fans. Let's specify that.
Yeah, the fans that are fucking suffering. Yeah, I actually don't even know. Gabe Perreault, maybe, I guess.
Noah Laba. I don't know. Give it to the concession workers at the guard. Give it to the rats at Penn Station. I think they deserve it. Two Cats USA Baseball tonight. Yes, absolutely. If you guys are wondering, at 7:45, we will both be live on the Mets Weekly YouTube channel. We'll be doing a watch long and a post game for the U.S. versus Brazil game tonight. So join us there. Should be enjoyable to watch because we don't have to talk about the Rangers. We can actually watch some good sports and a good team play.
We got to trade Nick Foligno to the Wild. He gets to play with his brother.
Nick Foligno got traded
to the Wild, though. They're out on Vincent Trocheck. It's over. Now we'll see what the return is first.
Chicago loses their captain. There has to be. Yeah, they're definitely
going the other way.
They're definitely gonna eat 50% because he's making $4.5 million. Nick Foligno.
The Foligno brothers in Minnesota.
Which that's
What's
because right now Minnesota only has $2.6 million in cap space left.
they literally gonna have no draft picks.
How are they going to make a Trocheck deal work with their cap?
I don't
I
think
mean,
Trocheck's happening
unless they're moving Tarasenko, which
yes, we're getting Tarasenko back. Let's go. Now now it's a trade. Now I'm down.
no, and we'll get back Zach Bogosian too.
Give me Zuccarello back. I don't even need draft picks then. Just give me Zuccarello back for vibes, and then it's a deal. 1-for-1. Zuccarello for Trocheck. You got yourself a deal. Yeah, let's get Patty Kane too. Let's just run the band back together. No, in all seriousness, I guess how much cap did they have, you said?
They have right now 2.6, and I'm assuming that Chicago could eat half this Foligno salary, which is 4.5. So
Yeah,
they'll
because I
have
was gonna say Nico Sturm, but I mean it could be don't jack off, but yak off Trennan. He could finally be a Ranger after we talked about the Rangers getting him years ago. It would be a very Rangers thing to do to get him after we talked about wanting him. Damn, but if Minnesota trades for Trocheck, they are gutting like their entire draft capital for
yeah,
this
they
year.
have no second round picks for the next 3 years. They already traded their first round pick to Vancouver in the Hughes trade. I mean, what is Bill Guerin cooking? That team has to fucking win a Stanley Cup because they're fucked otherwise. I mean, they do have Kaprizov locked up. They got Boldy, so I mean, it's not. And but this thing, they're gonna have to re-sign Quinn Hughes too. They got Faber's locked up long term. Spurgeon only has 2 more years. Brodin has 2 more years after this. Oh, they gotta win.
Yeah, no, there's no way though they could trade for Trocheck now.
I just saw that message you sent in the group chat. This fan base. All right, let's see. How long will it take to get this returned? Wonder if Carolina and Detroit see this and know Minnesota can't swing Trocheck and not go up on their offers. I mean, yeah, I mean, that could very well play into Carolina and Detroit's favor because Minnesota's no longer there as a bargaining chip. So, I mean, so we'll probably get ass out of Detroit and Carolina now if that deal does happen, which, in typical Troy fashion, getting getting outdueled in the trade negotiation. So, wouldn't be surprised there at all. But see, if Drury was smart, he would actually just put Carolina and Detroit up against each other to drive up the offer. But notably, that makes too much sense, so Drury won't do it. So
Wait,
yeah.
Minnesota has 9.7 in cap right now. It says
The cap wages
current cap space 9.7.
on cap wages is just 2.6. So I'm not sure.
I'm looking at Puckpedia where it says their deadline cap, which is 9.7.
Oh, okay. So
I don't know. I have no idea.
I guess I'll find out. This was so much easier when it was just cap wages. I mean, I'm sorry, with cap friendly, because everything was updated 100%.
Friendly. You say.
I knew you were gonna do that.
Ah.
Yeah, it says for some reason on Puckpedia it says 9.75, but then on Cap Wages it says 2. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh my god. Yeah, I know you're a tattoo artist. I've seen your work on your TikTok page, which first of all, you do freaking great work. I gotta go to you for a tattoo in general. But yeah, I might have to take you up on that offer with covering up this Rangers tattoo. I'm not gonna lie, I might have to take you up on that offer. I wouldn't let you do that for free though.
Wow, so Emily Kaplan's in no retention because the Blackhawks don't have any retention spots left.
Gotta miss the third teams. But that still eats at a good amount of their cap then. So they would have to send back a piece the other way if they trade for.
Yeah, because Foligno's making 4.5.
Yeah, they'd have to send a piece back then for Trocheck. We're getting Tarasenko back. Let's go, everyone.
Yes. Wait, but he can't wear 91 because Brendan Brisson has number 91. What are we gonna do?
Fuck.
Kevin Hayes for laughing at first, who says no. Get out of here, Andrew. Go, Andrew, go bake a cake. I mean, seriously, like, you got nothing else better to do? Go eat some chicken tenders, go bake a cake. Go listen to We Are Cheeto Bear. I don't know. Just like, let us be miserable. Has Drury actually ever won a trade that hasn't been a win-win? I'd say the only trade was the one where you sent Nils Lundqvist to Dallas because you got a first-round pick back, and then they allowed you to have two, and then they shipped one of them for Tarasenko and then used the other one on Gabe. Like that's the only trade that off the top of my head that I can think of that was actually a win by Drury.
For Toronto.
For Toronto too, yeah. Okay, I'll give them that. Yeah, but even then, freaking Vetrano was a win, but then can't keep him because we signed Barclay Goodrow to a $3.6 million deal. Chicken finger shaped cake, genius idea. Yeah, that one too, Brian. I'll give you that one. The Leah Sanderson for Will Cooley draft pick. Well, actually, no, that wasn't him. That was Jeff Gordon. So yeah, no, fuck Drury. He gets no credit on that. That was all Jeff Gordon. Matthew Nyes may be going to. No, I saw that. I think it was Chris Johnson. He said that Nyes is not available unless Toronto gets blown away by a trade proposal for another team. He also played last night too, so there's no indication that he's going to get moved. Like I said, unless Toronto gets blown away by a trade proposal from another team, Nyes is not getting moved. I mean, listen, like you could get a nice little decent haul back from Matthew Nyes. So, and I think any team would like him because he's like a solid second line winger who could play on the first line if you have to. But yeah, I like Matthew Nyes a lot.
Wow, Chris Johnston said something that we knew 50 hours ago, that the Bruins are interested in Vinny Trocheck. I had no fucking clue, man. Thank you, Chris Johnston.
That's awesome, dude. I like Will Cooley a lot, but blue teamers are over attached to him. Yeah, that's an understatement, considering that real cats in this fan base said that they wouldn't trade him for Jason Robertson. But hey, it is what it is. Don't want to trade Will Cooley, a decent third liner, for Jason Robinson, who could put up 50 goals a season or 45 goals a season. Hey. Can't say I'm shocked, though. And I'm sure none of us in the chat, Evan, is not shocked either, because this is how this fan base operates. Notably the blue teamer side, because the smart fans would make that trade 10 out of 10 times every single day of the week. But, you know, we don't live in that world. Nice for a 73 second round. But yeah, I'm sure Kyle Dubas would unload the train to get Matthew Knies out of Toronto, Andrew. But you guys don't need more talented players.
Okay, wait. Now Minnesota has 5.25 in cap.
Yeah, so they'd still have to send something back.
Yes, we're getting your off. Yes. No, we're not. Playing fucking pretend. We're gonna get fucking Robbie Fabry, and we're gonna like it.
I know it's a long shot, but if Drury could find a way to get Hagens for Trocheck, that would be. I mean, listen, if they could get Hagens, that would be fantastic. But unfortunately, we're playing pretend because one, Hagens goes to BC, and you can't have BU and BC together. That's a no go for Chris Drury. And second of all, Hagens is too talented, and his development will get fucked up here regardless anyway. But
I will say this. If they got Hagens in a Trocheck deal, but they didn't get a first-round pick, that's a prospect where you could actually say, okay, that's equivalent to a first-round pick. That is one of the few times you could actually convince me that. Not your Liam Greentree bullshit. He's not a blue-chip prospect. This is a prospect that is a blue-chip prospect. Like, if they got Hagens, I mean, shit. Good thing the camera angle is what it is. Let's just say that. Because, like, I mean, James Hagens would be... That would change a lot about how I feel. Not about Drury in general. Don't get it twisted, but
no,
that would actually be a blue chip prospect.
Yeah, if they could find a way to get Hagens, I mean, that's a future first line player. If anything, his floor is a really good second line center. Of course, if the Rangers develop him properly, which why would I even say that? Because we know that's not going to happen. But I mean, yeah, if Hagens is one of those rare prospects to where, okay, I'm fine with no first round pick if you're getting James Hagens, because, like I said, that's an actual blue chip prospect, not Liam Greentree. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, because I think the floor with Hagens is he could be what Trocheck is.
Yeah.
For you today.
Dre would rather take Dean Letourneau. Yeah, he probably would rather take Dean Letourneau because he's big, he's from Boston, and he hits. Don't look at anything else, just those factors. But yeah, Brian, if the deal was Trocheck or Hagens in a fourth or a third, I'd take that deal.
Future considerations. The
for what?
Was future considerations.
For Foligno?
Yes.
Future, what the Okay.
Damn, they really were doing Nick Foligno a favor there then.
Right? Sure.
Foligno for a nice crisp high five, yeah.
Future considerations is a GOAT. I mean, listen, Sal. If we're doing this trade, Trocheck and Schneider to Boston for Higgs and a first round pick, I mean, where do I sign the fucking paper? Because I mean that'd be a freaking dream return. What is the point of future considerations? It's just like a placeholder thing. Like that's pretty much it.
The greatest trade piece in the history of the sport. No one does it like future considerations. Future considerations plays the game the right way.
Well, but there is a discussion to be had here. What's better, future considerations or player to be named later?
Ah. What's more friendly? What's screaming more belly rubs? I don't know. Yeah, future considerations as a warrior.
Get your considerations jersey now. I'd wear that jersey with pride. Kadri's also another one because we also heard that Calgary doesn't want to retain. So interested to see how that works out. Future considerations is a culture changer. The first in a series. I mean, I'd rather have future considerations over JT Miller.
Oh, Bros is not happy right now.
Bros, yeah, of course.
Did you just see his tweet?
No, let me see. Broads Media. That deserves a retweet.
Yeah, he could go back to Carolina. There's certainly truth there.
And we'll get back Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Let's go!
Yeah.
Yeah! Culture changer. See how much salary space do the Hurricanes have? 40.35. They have 9.7 on, yeah, so they got space to make it work. They got a first round pick this year, courtesy of the Rantanen trade. Got a first round pick next year, and then 2 in 28.
Three more hours.
Jesperi Kotkaniemi for Brennan Hoffman. Any quick recap about last night's game? All right, there was no recap. They somehow won because Toronto's equally as shit as them. That's about it. Can we trade Detroit to Detroit for an octopus? Sign me up. Just turned on, guys. Trocheck, no, Trocheck has not been moved yet. Trocheck not at practice, so I mean, yeah, it's not too much of a surprise. Obviously, if he wasn't playing last night, he's obviously not going to be at practice today because you're not going to risk him being injured. Sure, he's still searching for the worst deal possible. It takes time. I mean, it does. It takes a lot of effort to be shit at your job, especially to the caliber that Drury's doing it at.
Fitz's tweet just made me want to freaking vomit.
Yeah, I know.
You already know what I'm quote tweeting with.
I'm quote tweeting the exact same thing.
The art of the deal.
A certain book cover, a New York Times bestseller.
Which should I get? Chicken bacon ranch or honey barbecue pizza? Fuck it, why not get both?
Both are good. I would go chicken bacon ranch though.
Fries or mott sticks? You gotta go mott sticks, in my opinion.
Yeah. Fucking trade deadline day and we're talking about fucking pizza and mozzarella sticks.
Because these fucking insiders and GMs suck dick and balls, that's why. They fucking suck. We're just a bunch of assholes who fucking sit here all day waiting for this shit. Just in return to get nothing.
American or chocolate rhino cake?
Chocolate, because, I mean, there was a certain cake that was a chocolate cake, so.
I mean, speaking of this item,
Detroit and Carolina have sent offers where, yeah, they're doing their homework. They continue to study trades. Fucking Bruce Garrett. Such a dork for that.
There's a lot of moving pieces. The situation is very fluid right now.
These insiders about the fucking nerd herd.
I mean, yeah, Brian, Drury is probably talking about pizza right now instead of, actually getting good prospects back and getting draft picks back.
I don't know if I mentioned this before, but fire Drury. Wouldn't that be a miracle? We should do NHL reporter bingo with per sources, hearing, studying trades. Yeah, we should have done that. We did that either during one of the free agent streams or deadline streams, maybe even both. We should have done that this year again. Fuck it, I might order pizza too. Yeah, you might as well. Fuck it. I mean, we're in for a long live stream here. We are in for the long haul because we have 3 hours or 2 hours rather, and what, 50 minutes, and we are waiting and waiting, and we've got nothing. Nothing but that Brink trade. Like, that's really the highlight of the day. Like, I can't sit here and yap about the Foligno trade. Like, cool story. The Foligno brothers get to play with each other. I really don't give a rat's ass. Sorry, I really just do not. It's got to be a pizzeria. You can't Domino's or nah. You can't do any of those places. Do I think the Islanders get Kyrou? I do not. I don't think Kyrou gets moved until the summer. I think that's more of a summer trade, honestly. Even Robert Thomas, I don't know if either of them get moved until the summer. Would I like one of those trades to happen? Yes. Just not to the Islanders though, please. That would fucking suck a lot. But maybe, I mean, if they're moving Shabanov and or Duclair, then they're opening their cap for something. So I think Thomas though is more likely than Kyrou if something happens today in that regard. Yeah, Malkin got suspended. Yeah, yeah, that's how I feel. I think Kyrou's a summer move personally, but I would love to be wrong because I want more trades today. So I'm not sitting here like an asshole for nothing. Yeah, the Devils put a bunch of guys on waivers also. I have no idea what they're gonna do. Like, is Dougie Hamilton gonna finally get traded? That also feels like a summer move, though. I don't know. I know the Sharks were interested or whatever.
I think he blocked that move though, so I don't think that's happening.
You're going to Chuck E. Cheese to get pizza? All right.
Guy's gonna be playing skee ball and eating fucking pizza.
Andrew playing with ball is not a familiar, or that is a familiar sight rather. Should the Rangers get a top right winger in the offseason? And yes, should it be Kyrou or a different player? No. I think they just need to build through the draft, even though I know, um, that's something that is a foreign language for this team. I don't see the whole vision of trading for Kyrou or trading for Robert Thomas, Jason Robertson. Like it's not in the right timeline. But I expect Trey to be stupid and do something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, because like why trade for actual good players? Not 2 years ago when you're in contention to win a Stanley Cup and you have arguably one of your better seasons in franchise history. But no, let's wait till we're actually garbage, nowhere near a cup. Now let's get those pieces because 2 years ago, yeah, we should be getting the Wenbergs of the world and the Rosbecks of the world, not the Gensels, not the Robertsons, not JT Miller back in 2022. No, it's just let's wait till they're old, washed up, and let's get the shit pieces. Typical Rangers.
Yeah, Andrew's a Hall of Fame ball handler. Can confirm. Can confirm. Corey Perry going to Tampa Bay. According to Elliot Friedman.
It's a good pickup for them.
Going back to Tampa. So Tampa's losing in the
they're
finals.
losing.
Yes.
Yeah, they're losing in the finals this year. Wait, LA's selling? But I thought Panarin only wanted to go to LA. What the fuck's happening?
Maybe, just maybe, if this fucking asshole waited until the deadline, maybe he would have went somewhere else. Oh my god. Whatever. Whatever. I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered.
Every day that goes by, that trade looks worse and worse and worse. Wait, no, but Liam Greentree, notable blue chip prospect. How could I forget?
Just as good as a first round pick. Domino's is only for when you're drunk or traveling. They suck. Yeah, exactly. No, you got. No, I can't even promote them anymore. Joey D's not there anymore. I was gonna promote New World's Pizza, but I don't know if it's.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's like a family thing or not. I don't know if the D's are still there, and they're just one less D there. But
1D short.
that pizza was fucking gas.
New World's pizzas.
That pizza was great when we had it at the Airbnb.
The margarita slice.
Don't even get me started. And you
When
just know
Joey-
that seat fucking smells still at that Airbnb.
When Joey cut the pizza right there.
A second round pick for Corey Perry. And God, I won't say it. I won't say it. You guys know what I'm thinking. I won't say it. Corey Perry got a second round pick. What are we fucking doing though, man? I mean, LA has 3 second round picks. Oh my goodness.
Perry got a higher draft pick. Guaranteed draft pick than Panarin. Nice.
My friends always make fun of me for being pessimistic. Fan, breath of fresh air hearing this. Well, more power to your friends. I feel, I feel for them. It's got to be brutal to be that kind of fan.
anyone knows Chris Drury's Addy. Well, there is one person you could ask. I'm sure he could find it.
Crosby practicing. Andrew's cakes are big right now.
Let's just say this person said that a certain player played the game the right way in 2014-15.
Drury's bosses from day one. What makes anyone think it's going to change? Because some people are a special kind of, let's just say special. Yeah. Some people just like to play pretend and swim in delusion. I hate that I have to have my camera angle the way it is right now, and I apologize to everyone in the chat about that. I recently got a new monitor, so the camera angle is like all fucked up. I'm gonna have to fix that going forward. It's like if I lower it, the monitor will be
Way
blocking.
down.
Yeah, it'll be like right in front of the camera. So LA, those are really gonna have 3 or 4 second-round picks now, but I won't say it. I won't say it. I will not say it.
Frost, yeah, I don't agree. I think that Tampa did need a guy like Corey Perry back because right now they need some depth help in their bottom six. I mean, right now, because Nick Paul's hurt right now, Gun Gonsalves is out, so I mean their fourth line right now has Scott Saburin on it and Connor Geeky, so they needed some sort of help on that bottom on that fourth line. So I think that was a good ad for them, and they're going for it right now. So it's like what's a second round pick worth?
Could they just like do something interesting though? Like Bjorkstrand needs to be moved today, and they need to upgrade over that.
Matt, you haven't put on weight. Proud of you, bud. I mean, thanks.
Fuck.
What? What?
What is this fucking a low stream? What the fuck? I didn't realize this was a low stream.
You don't even know how much I weigh, so how the fuck do you know if I didn't put on weight or not? You gonna guess my height next too? Do I win like a stuffed teddy bear if you guess my height correctly or my weight? That's that happy weight when you're healing from this sorry ass franchise.
Ew. Elliot Freeman apparently mentioned the Canucks have interest in Kotkaniemi. Gross, man. What?
Is that for the Patterson? If they trade Patterson?
No, that's not in a Pedersen trade.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Gross.
That's yeah. That is absolutely disgusting. Glad I can make you guys laugh. You're just a big guy, man. Don't be mad. I mean, I'm not mad, but it's just like it's a weird comment.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Lassie. Saying you could cross the Wild off the list for a Trocheck. I don't know about that one. Still got room. Oh, that's why he said it. Because there was a someone from Daily Faceoff said things could change fast, but it looks like they're the Wild are done.
Uh, yeah, Anthony DeMarco. All
And
right,
it's
so that's
wraps. All right, bro. No, you're going too far. All right, bro. Um, Nonetheless, though, um, yeah, one less suitor. The only thing I think is this could be a tactic from Bill Guerin. This could be a leak from Guerin trying to get Drury to bite on that offer and be like, yeah, we don't need to have Trocheck.
Nick. Come on.
Can't believe I freaking have been sitting here for a few hours just to see nobody's get traded from Boston and Philly, to see um the Foligno brothers reunite, and then the guy that banged Connor Bedard's mom get traded for a second round pick. Like, this is what I went live for. My goodness. Can we talk
Gotta
about
love
how?
the
What'd you say?
I said gotta love the NHL.
Yeah, fucking a bunch of nothing. Like, where are the trades? About to hit 2 hours and 30 minutes. Can we talk about how Juracek is getting passed around in the league? Yeah, it is interesting, and that's what the great Broads was saying, that it's alarming that he's been moved around already this much.
So I'm gonna be honest here. The Phillies piss me off.
Carolina and Detroit have to make moves, especially Carolina, because you don't have to face Florida this year. You don't have to face, and I know this sounds dumb, but the Rangers just beat them every time, and you don't have to face them. This is your time. This is your time, Kings. Go out there and slay it.
Go
Go out there
Slay.
and be Pixie.
Be
Go be
Pookie.
great. Like, outside of Tampa Bay, who is really in Carolina's way to go to the finals from the East?
Nobody really.
West Montreal has a Cinderella run in them, maybe. You know what, though? Maybe the Rangers could come back and make the playoffs and go on a deep run, you know? You never know, right? You gotta love hockey for that reason. You just
I
never
mean,
know. Like, the
I
math
mean,
might not be in their favor, but if, every team in front of them loses games and the Rangers win games, maybe.
if we play pretend, it could happen. I'm snorting bold. Listen, if we're playing pretend, it could happen. Because anything could happen when you play pretend, right?
Yeah, and it's only one game. Like Hog said, you never know.
It's only one game.
Dave Pagnotta saying that the Wild are out on Trocheck. I still think this is just um I think this is just a media job here by Garen to get Troy to bite. I don't think they're actually out.
Oh man, I really wanted Charlie Schrammel. God damn it.
Yeah, I mean they're on a 3-game point streak. You never know. You get hot here at the right time and you get in, anything can happen.
I mean, what they're only out of the play. It's only a 17-point difference that they're out. It's not like terrible. And think about it, they have what 21 games left. They could do it. That's 42 points. If they just win the next 21.
Yeah, I think that this is a ploy to get Troy to bite. I just don't think Minnesota, who you have Bill Guerin being like, "Hey, Trocheck, come take the picture with us with Team USA," is all of a sudden just like, "Yeah, you know what? Nick Foligno and Michael McCarron's good enough." I don't know.
And Bobby Brink.
Alex Ovechkin, Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Brink. Broads doesn't get to tweet that anymore. Yeah, the playoffs are a crapshoot. You never know. You get hot here, and the Rangers could compete with any of these teams.
Well, look at St. Louis. They were last place at Christmas, and they won the Stanley Cup.
They were last place in January. Fuck Christmas. They were last in January. You never know.
LA was the 8th seed in 2012. I mean, in 2012, they could do it.
Florida barely snuck in when they went to the finals against Vegas. You never know. Yeah, and they got Foligno for like the comment was before for a crisp high five. Like I don't know. I can't see them all of a sudden being like, yeah, you know what? We gave up a high five. Now we're out on Trocheck. Like I don't see it.
I mean, yeah, look at the Sabres. Prime example. And
Yeah,
like Kaylee's, like
Gabe
Kaylee's,
Perreault,
all you
too.
need is hot.
Hot goalie. You got Gabe Perreault. I mean, you got everything you need.
You got Miller, yeah.
Yeah, who will magically be ready for the playoffs then?
You got Connor Sheary and Will Borgen.
Yeah, you could do what the Sabres did, but oh wait, what is it that they did?
Yeah, they did something. I believe it was to like their GM or something like that. They did something. I don't know. Yeah, don't forget Vince Iorio, like the guy's that's been waived twice this year.
God,
He'll
I love
become.
Jeremy Hefner being exposed as a fraud right now. Sorry.
Why? What happened?
Uh, the New York Post article about like Justin Willard or whatever.
Uh,
Oh my God, please. Jalen Carter might be available in a Max Crosby trade. Yes. Give me something to smile about, please. We're getting more NFL trade rumors and NHL trade rumors today. Who will make more trades today, the Eagles or the Rangers?
no.
Because We're hearing more about AJ Brown and Jalen Carter than anything else right now. Yeah, Rampy will be ready for the playoffs. I mean, we're good to go.
Scored the first goal in the 2024 playoffs.
Fuck, my goat posted on Instagram and I can't even watch right now. You know exactly who.
Nunez.
No, I just sent it to you. Can't watch it right now, but
Oh,
you
that
know who.
that that
You know
goat.
who.
That goat.
That will definitely be watched later. Tampa losing to Colorado in the finals, baby. Yeah, just like it should have been the Rangers there. They're up 2-0 in that series, and Jacob Trouba just ruined it all.
Where have I heard that story before?
Hey, I'll chip in on this. I will gladly chip in on this.
I'll give all the $100. I'll give the whole thing. I'll throw in an extra $100. So I'm bumped it up to 200.
Sadly, we are committed to the craft. We're not gonna hop off and then hop back on. No homo.
The dang man. Biz thinks the Leafs aren't selling. I've got a bridge to sell him.
As we heard a bit ago, that Bobby McMahon's probably getting traded today. Makes sense.
I'm feeling a Sammy Blais trade brewing. Sammy Blais coming back.
Why the Dallas starts tweeting Michael Bunting content like anyone gives a fuck? This guy's on like his 7th team in 4
Oh,
years.
that's
Like,
the Wild have traded Vinny Hinostroza to the Florida Panthers for future considerations.
oh fuck you! You're not. See, they're not done. Shut up, nerds. We were lied to.
How much was Hinostroza making? Can't be that much, but
They're opening up more cap space. Now they have enough.
775 he was making.
Now they have enough for Trocheck. They actually do now. That opened it up. God,
But the Wild got back their future considerations because they moved it for Foligno, and then they just got back more for Hinostroza.
get back on the bus. Vince is tweeting from practice, and fucking Schneider got his way on the power play too. I'm gonna fucking. Oh my god. Move him.
Sammy Blais sounds like a used car dealership. I wish you could trade GM sometimes. I wish you could too. Or Cap. Yeah. Feel like this is going to be a buzzard beater or no deal at all. Yeah, I said that probably the Trocheck trade's going to happen like right at the end too, because that's what's going to happen. I mean, the Marchand trade was right at the end of last year too, to Florida. That trade was right at the end. 2 years ago, the Hurdle trade to Vegas, that was right at the end. So, you know, we'll see. I mean, the Robert Thomas deal too. Kadri maybe gets moved. I don't know. Got 2 hours and 20 minutes to make deals. Dre wanted to steal the show and make it last second. Yeah, because he's a narcissist, so it's always got to be about him. Although, God forbid he actually does a fucking interview where he shows his face, but hey, why do that? Has an NHL coach ever got traded? Maybe, I'm not sure. I know in the NFL that happens, but actually, let's look it up on Google. Coach ever been traded? Wow, and funny enough, look who was the team that actually traded for a coach. It was the Rangers in 1987. They acquired Michel Bergeron from the Quebec Nordiques for a first-round pick. The NHL has implemented policies that may affect coach trades, but they are not straightforward as player trades. So there you go. There's your answer, Stinger.
Oh, I've seen the Jets link to fucking Carson Wentz. My goodness.
Can't be surprised. Sure, he's going to trade a first for AJ Greer. Wouldn't be shocked.
I woke up earlier in the fucking morning for this shit.
I got your next beer at City Field. All right. I won't turn that down. Yep. And like Nicole said, Eberle extended in Seattle.
That's feeling like a
Two
friggin' deadline tradition at this point.
2 years, $5.5 million.
Seattle just shouldn't even be a fucking franchise. They piss me off. They just fucking suck. They're just here because we need to get to an even number again. Like, pick a direction. Tommy DeVito signed with New England. Yes.
Tommy Cutlets.
That's what we're here for.
2 years, $7.4 million to be a fucking backup quarterback. If we're just handing out money, like I'll take $7.4 million with $2 million being guaranteed. I'm not gonna complain.
Oh, Biz is gonna piss off Isles Nation again. Even though he's
Why?
right.
What do you
He
say?
said that Sorokin's putting lipstick on a pig with the Islanders. He's not wrong, but Islander fans are not going to want to hear it. They are the 2021-22 Rangers, but no one wants to talk about it. It's legit flirting versus harassment, though, with the Islanders getting carried by a goalie versus the Rangers getting carried by a goalie. No Hollifer in Nashville today or Marchessault. Marchessault's interesting because we heard that he wanted to stay. I don't get why these guys want to stay in Nashville. Like, just fucking go somewhere else. There was that whole thing that apparently the Islanders were interested in Stamkos, which, sure, go get Unk. They're just gonna get the guys that beat them
With
in
the
Tampa Bay, even though they're fucking washed now with Palat and Stamkos. The Raiders released Geno Smith. Yeah, Carson's gonna be happy. Yeah, this does sound very familiar, doesn't it? Does sound very familiar. Habsky's a goalie like Binner or Quickie. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that with a Habs fan we know, and he doesn't agree with us, but I think they should be pursuing a goaltender. Where's Quinn? Why is he not in the chat? Where the fuck is Quinn? Busy day at the office. This guy's big time. And then where the hell is Mahoney? This guy's telling us to go live and he's not even here. You fake. You fucking faker.
It's Ranger Central. No way. Bob to Edmonton would make the deadline worth it. I don't know how they make the cap work, but
Yeah, what is their cap situation? They have, yeah, they have less than 500K. Nice.
unless you send back Tristan Jarry, but why the fuck would Florida want Tristan Jarry?
That Um, that Trent Frederick contract
Yeah.
that's brutal.
Darnell Nurse too, but less said about that. Oilers fans saying Bouchard should be no, he should not be in the Norris conversation. Yeah, sure, he puts up points, but he'll play defense. Like, I'm sorry, like we say, like Big Apple Hockey says, there should be two awards for defensemen. One who puts up the most points, or like the most gifted offensive one, and then the best defensive one. Because the fact that a guy like Slavin will never win a Norris Trophy is a fucking crime. Like the guy's the best defensive defenseman in the league.
So even so good, you don't even notice. Uh, you don't even notice how good he is. Because he stops plays before they could even develop. Yeah, like that. Again, that's why they need to make two different kind of awards. It won't happen, but they should. What's going on, Mark? How you doing? Welcome. He's correct for holding out if he actually gets a good return, but I don't know if this is gonna happen. Any leave trades? Nick Waugh yesterday. That was it. So far, nothing else. Which that's a team that has pieces that will get moved. OEL potentially getting moved. Carlo, who they got freaking pants in that trade, maybe gets moved. McMahon's the name that we're hearing the most. I feel like I'm forgetting another name. I mean, Yarncroke's a pending UFA. Scott Lawton, that was the other name. So, we'll see. Yeah, what a difference 2 years makes. We were waiting for Jake Gensel 2 years ago. Now we're here.
Oh, those streams or something else.
Yeah, the Leafs should be selling them all. We've also heard rumors about Nyes. I don't think they're going to move Nyes, but his name's out
Nah.
there apparently.
Yeah, they said it would take like an astronomical return for him to get moved. So I don't think that's gonna happen.
Could I interest them in Braden Schneider?
You could.
Would they want that?
Schneider and blue chip prospect Liam Greentree.
Who says no?
Remember when JJ Paterka was arranged for an hour? Yeah, that was nice.
Fucking Frank Saravalli, that dude. I'm sorry, he's Celtic Shaq these days. Like he had one good run. Honestly, he's not even Celtic Shaq. He's Jeremy Lin. He had a Linsanity run with one of the deadlines in like 2020 or 2021, and he's been washed ever since. Like,
He had a 2024 Mark Vientos run.
it was special. Couldn't get Gensel because of Gabe, and now that Gabe's here, we're rebuilding. Wouldn't have even needed to trade Gabe. It was Othman, Kako, and a first. That's what sucks.
But we had to protect the dynasty, so
Yeah. Meanwhile, the window fucking got slammed shut so quick. I don't think Minnesota's actually out on Trocheck still. I really just don't. I think that it was a ploy to get Drury the bite on that shit return. Yeah, Gensel's a Crosby merchant. He had a broken finger. I mean, he shoots dogs. Like he's just an awful person. It's horrible.
Montreal talking about Kadri, that'd be an interesting fit.
Yeah, because I know they're in the market for a center because we've heard Trocheck linked to Montreal for a bit. I just don't know. I mean, Line, I guess, is the piece that goes out to make the cap work.
No, we're finally gonna get Josh Anderson. Just too bad Larry won't be able to see it. Rest in peace, Larry.
Protect Ree to a 1.0 at all costs. Exactly. If you could choose the team that would trade for Trocheck, who would it be? For me, it's Detroit. Yeah, same with
Detroit.
me. They have the best possible return.
Yeah,
Although, if you could get Michael Hague from Montreal, then that changes the game. Or if Hagen's, like we talked about earlier, from Boston, that changes the game.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Only Drake could probably announce a retool, not actually a retool, a rebuild. Because, like we said, it's a PR scam. It was all a bunch of bullshit. I think if Carolina got Robert Thomas, I mean, that would be a really good fit for them. I mean, your top two centers are freaking Aho and Robert Thomas. I mean, that's really fucking good. And then you got Stankoven, Stahl also. Yeah, they'd have a very deep top six. And then with Ehlers, Jarvis, Sveshnikov. Of course, Eric Robinson on the fourth line.
Yep.
The best fourth liner in the league.
Letter 3.0 is going to come out tonight. Yeah, it might actually. Troy's just going to give us a giant fuck you again.
Carson's comment. Pagnotis says Calgary and Montreal are talking about a Nazem Kadri trade. I'm told it might include Patrick Laine.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to include Line. Fortnite boy.
Fucking Laine, man. Bro just can't find a home.
See, that's the kind of stuff though that the Rangers should be doing this deadline, which they won't, is playing garbage man and take guys like Line if draft picks get attached to him and just eat those salaries for 1 year. It sucks that there's no double retention anymore because the Rangers would it would be perfect for them to be able to take advantage of that, but nope, they had to get rid of it because fans had to freaking whine so much about the cap stuff that they overcorrected it.
Carolina should have won a cup already if not for the garbage goaltending. I mean, 23 they got beat like easily by Florida. 24, yeah. The Rangers. I mean, Carolina probably should have won that series in a reverse sweep, and then last year same thing. Florida just manhandled them, and I'm 2022. I don't. They had a good team. I don't think they get past Tampa though in the conference final.
Which year was that?
22.
Yeah, probably not.
And then even if they get to the final, Colorado would have manhandled them either way.
Yeah, Colorado just I mean they were not losing. Who'd they even play? They played what, the Blues in the
Yeah,
first round?
they played the Blues. They swept the Oilers in the
Yeah, they
conference
freaking
final.
gave the Oilers a fucking nasty facial. Like they were not losing. And then yeah, they played. Yeah, that was the conference finals. Oh yeah, Nashville in round 1. That was
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just like, God, they were fucking on a mission. Like
That was one of the best forward cores I've ever seen assembled for a cup winning team.
They lost 4 games that playoff run. They were not losing that year.
Yeah, I agree too, Cats. The fact that there's no Igor to stop them, there's no Florida this year. Like Tampa's there, and Tampa's a difficult opponent, but if they don't get to the finals this year, then they're just not going to do it. Who's the biggest threat to the Avs this year in the West? I mean, Dallas, you can't count them out. I mean, the Pacific's really not great. Like, Vegas has good players, but they haven't really played great hockey this year. Anaheim's still young. Edmonton is, I mean, listen, if Edmonton gets hot and McDavid and Draisaitl carry and go God mode, they could upset them. But, I mean, Minnesota's decent, but I don't know. I think Colorado is the best team in the West. And I know typically that's usually how it works because we've seen top teams make the playoffs and then they get like eliminated in the second round or something. It's no guarantee, but Colorado's just stacked, especially if they do add like a Kadri or a Trocheck or maybe a Robert Thomas, even though they haven't been rumored to get Robert Thomas. I don't know because they do need to add another player probably. So what they got? They got 3.6 million in cap right now. So, and maybe they do like move like a Olafson to like open up more cap. And it's only 1.575, but still. They got no first round pick either until. I mean, Jesus. I mean, look at their picks in the next 3 years. They have no first, second, or third round pick this year. They have no first round pick in 2027. They have 2 second round picks, no third round pick, 1 first round pick in 2028, and no second and no third round picks.
Colorado, we're talking about.
Yeah, Colorado.
I mean, the fact that they gave up a fucking first for Nick Waugh, just like, God, the sport is something else. These GMs are a bunch of fucking cavemen.
People keep repeating the same thing. Emily Kaplan regarding Vincent Trocheck. Detroit, Carolina, even Boston. Thanks. Like we didn't know that.
Shut up. We know.
Thanks, man.
Put the fucking Donald Greca clip up. We know. I just saw this. Yeah, my bad. I just saw that now. What you said in the private chat.
Yeah, I'm good with whatever.
Maybe we will, just because it's less talking for us, and there's literally nothing right now. I'm gonna have to just set it up then after, but all right, we're gonna take a quick 10-minute intermission here. Everyone, we're gonna be joining Big Apple Hockey on their stream. I'm gonna connect it to my channel, the stream, so this will be segmented into 2 different parts here. So yeah, it will just be a quick intermission, so be on the lookout for that. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
See you guys.